Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Mi nombre es Luis Figuria, soy el presidente ejecutivo de Young American Business Trust. Vamos a dar inicio de manera oficial a la semana de entrenamiento Week to Grow como parte del programa Eco-Entrepeneur, una iniciativa de un gran programa realizado gracias al esfuerzo de PepsiCo, la Organización de los Estados Americanos, el Centro School para el Emprendimiento Social de la Universidad de Oxford y el Young American Business Trust. Vamos a tener una ceremonia pues, bastante corta pero muy significativa con las autoridades máximas de nuestras organizaciones para luego dar inicio al día de actividades. Me gustaría darle la palabra primero al señor Diego Ruiz, Vice President of Global Public Policy and Government Affairs for PepsiCo. Mr. Ruiz was Executive Director of the Securities and Exchange Commission from 2006 to 2011, serving as Chief Operating Officer of the principal law enforcement and regulatory agency for the United States security industry. Prior to joining SEC, Mr. Ruiz was Deputy Chief for Strategy and Policy at the Federal Communications Commission. Prior to serving to the U.S. government, he was executive with Univision Communications, the country's premier Spanish language media company. While at Univision, Mr. Ruiz ran Northern California TV station group based in Sacramento, then the fastest growing Hispanic market in the country. Mr. Ruiz also launched and served as Vice President General Manager of Univision Online, leading its portal to become the #1 Spanish language website within 6 months of launching. Prior to this, Mr. Ruiz served as a station manager at KMX34, Univision flagship station in Los Angeles. Mr. Ruiz received an MBA degree from Harvard Business School and a BA degree from the University of Virginia. Thank you, Mr. Ruiz.
Gracias, Luis, por esas gentiles palabras. Muy buenos días a todos.
Buenos días.
En nombre de PepsiCo y de todos nuestros socios y nuestros anfitriones aquí en la OEA, quiero decirles a todos muy buenos días y muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Es un placer realmente estar aquí en representación de PepsiCo para darles la bienvenida a esta semana que creo que va a ser muy interesante, muy motivante y espero que llena de muchos aprendizajes y muchas lecciones duraderas para todos ustedes. Quiero antes de todo darle las gracias a nuestro anfitrión aquí, al embajador Ramdin. Muchas gracias, embajador, por tenernos aquí y por la asociación de muchos años que tenemos junto con PepsiCo y el Young America's Business Trust para armar estos programas que van creciendo año tras año y que en esta ocasión se han convertido en el programa de Eco-Entrepeneur. Y también a Roy Thompson de Young America's Business Trust, con quien hemos estado trabajando juntos, hombro a hombro, durante la vida entera de estos programas de entrepreneurship. Y gracias muy especiales también a Pamela Hardigan del School Center for Social Entrepreneurship en la Universidad de Oxford, quien nos ha aportado una cuota muy importante de conocimiento y de know-how de lo que es social entrepreneurship. Así que tenemos aquí un grupo de personas y organizaciones que realmente aportan muchísimo a lo que va a ser la agenda de esta semana. Como ustedes saben, porque todos ustedes han pasado por el programa de Eco-Reto, este programa de Eco-Entrepreneurship nace justamente de esa competencia que hemos tenido a lo largo de los últimos varios años y nace de la idea de tratar de ampliar el alcance de Eco-Reto mucho más allá de cada competencia puntual que hemos visto en los últimos años. Es la naturaleza de un programa de ese tipo, de que tenemos que elegir un ganador todos los años, pero nosotros siempre lo decimos y lo decimos de todo corazón. Realmente todos ustedes que participan en el Eco-Reto son ganadores por el mero hecho de haber llegado hasta esas instancias y haber participado y haber ideado un concepto de negocio social con potencial y con alcance en cada uno de sus países. Entonces, aquí nos juntamos esta semana simplemente para darle seguimiento a ese proceso y para estimular y ayudar a cada uno de ustedes a llegar a la próxima meta en sus carreras y en sus esfuerzos por montar estos negocios que tanto han trabajado para elaborar. Sin más que eso, quiero cederle la palabra a mis compañeros, pero simplemente darles las bienvenidas y comunicarles sinceramente de parte de PepsiCo y de parte de todos los organizadores cuán entusiasmados estamos de tenerlos aquí, porque realmente creo que va a ser una semana fantástica y se van a llevar de aquí experiencias y memorias y conocimientos muy buenos. Así que bienvenidos, felicitaciones y muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruiz. I would like to invite also Mrs. Pamela Hartigan, Director of the School Center for Social Entrepreneurship, Said Business School, University of Oxford. Mrs. Hartigan is one of the world's leading proponents of social entrepreneurship and is actively engaged in a range of international initiatives to promote it. As Director of the Call Center for Social Entrepreneurship, Mrs. Hartigan is focused in advancing social entrepreneurship through leveraging top academic research, rising leadership talent, and opportunities for targeted engagement with the global community of innovators to drive large-scale impact on the world's most pressing problems. She is a driving force in supporting initiatives to encourage students from Oxford and elsewhere who want to apply their talents to improving the state of the world, in identifying academics involved in relevant research and developing case studies and creating tailored programs for social entrepreneurs. She is also non-executive director at Bolans, an organization she co-founded in 2008 focused on scaling entrepreneurial solutions to the world's largest, biggest problems. It developed partnerships with corporations and social enterprises to create opportunities for sharing talent, spark new business models, and facilitate investment in innovative solutions. She's a frequent lecturer on social entrepreneurship and innovation at graduate schools in the United States, Europe, and Asia, and is an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School. Her book, co-authored with John Elkington, co-founder of Sustainability in the UK, and entitled The Power of Unreasonable People, How Entrepreneurs Create Markets to Change the World, was published by Harvard Business Press in February 2008. The book is used as a reference guide in the field and has been translated in 11 languages. Mrs. Hartigan has a PhD in Human Development Psychology from Catholic University in Washington, D.C., an MA in Education from American University in Washington, D.C., and an MA in International Economics from Instituto de Estudios Europeos from the University of Brussels. A Bachelor in Science and International Economics from the School of Foreign Services from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. She was born and raised in Latin America. She published in both English and Spanish. Welcome, Mrs. Hartigan.
Muchas gracias, estoy encantada de estar con ustedes hoy y de veras que no les voy a decir mucho porque van a oír demasiado de mí hoy día. Hoy día es el día donde yo los voy a aburrir a muerte, así que prepárense. Una preguntita, ¿cuántos equipos hay aquí? ¿Cuántos de ustedes están en? O sea que hay 15 más o menos, ¿no? Unos 15. La mayoría de ustedes vienen de América Latina, del Caribe. ¿Hay alguien del Caribe aquí? Uno. From where?
Barbados.
Barbados, ok. Esto va a ser un reto interesante en términos de Spanglish, ¿no? Vamos a ver cómo nos va. Nosotros desde la Universidad de Oxford, yo trabajo en el Said Business School, que es una de las escuelas de negocios más importantes de Europa y también, como se refirió, estoy en el Columbia Business School también. Una de las cosas que a mí me ha impresionado más que nada es el afán con el cual los jóvenes de hoy de veras quieren invertir su talento, su conocimiento, su creatividad en buscar nuevos patrones de mercado y de liderazgo. O sea que de veras que ya no es el patrón que hemos venido conociendo de los modelos de negocios que priorizan únicamente la maximización de las ganancias, sino de veras cómo podemos equilibrar eso con un fuerte componente social y ambiental. Y ustedes son pues el ejemplo de eso, ¿no? Entonces yo estoy fascinada de estar aquí a compartir un poco, o más bien aprender de ustedes por dónde van y animarlos un poco en términos de utilizar algunas herramientas, ojalá que sean nuevas para ustedes, de ayudarles a fortalecer lo que están haciendo. Entonces yo de veras que estoy feliz de estar con ustedes y aquí ya me voy a callar y pasar la palabra porque, como les digo, se van a aburrir de mí al final del día.
Muchas gracias, señora Jardiga. I would like to welcome Ambassador Albert Randing, Assistant Secretary General of the Organization for American States. Ambassador Albert Randing has a long and distinguished career in international relations, diplomacy, and government negotiations in the Americas. A citizen of Suriname, Ambassador Randing began his career in the private sector and was soon appointed advisor on foreign trade by his government. In 1997, he became Suriname's ambassador of the Organization for American States in Washington, D.C. Following his term as ambassador, he was appointed Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM. After serving CARICOM from 1999 to 2001, he became Senior Political Advisor and then OEA's Secretary of the 10th OEA Secretary General Cesar Gaviria for 3 years. Ambassador Randing was elected Assistant Secretary General on June 7, 2005, and then he was re-elected unanimously for a second term of 5 years in March 24, 2010. As Assistant Secretary General of the OEAS, Ambassador Randing pledged to ensure the fair and equal representation of all the 34 countries represented at the hemispheric organization, having responsibility for the guidance of Permanent Council of the OEAS. Assistant Secretary General Randing has managed the discussion of sensitive issues among countries, providing key advice, recommendations, proposals, and solutions to potential conflicts. Ambassador Randing has also been instrumental in managing election-related conflicts in several countries and has served as chief of mission of many election observation teams. Assistant Secretary General Ambassador Randing has advocated for social and economic opportunities for youth as chair of the OEA's Interdepartmental Working Group on Youth. He has been influential in providing support to countries through the OEA's programs to strengthen sustainable development, increase productivity and innovation of small and medium-sized enterprises, to secure the upgrade of national identity systems to allow citizens to obtain basic identity documents. Welcome, Ambassador Randing.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Sometimes you did not understand me there. So it's great to be here, and it's I know it's Monday morning, 9 o'clock. It's not the best moment often in the week, but from what I have seen and from what I have heard, you are in for a real treat in terms of the Week to Grow program. But I want to begin by thanking those who are supporting these programs. You will benefit from it, and at some point you will support others. But to come to this point, I want to say thanks to two groups. First of all, our own Young Americas Business Trust, who is mobilizing this kind of energy within the Americas, and you are clearly the expression of that. But it is not only this event. This continues the whole year, and you are sometimes involved in that, but the many more activities which the YBT undertakes in support of young people should not be underestimated or undervalued. And I want to make that point very clearly, and I say that always because I find they are not recognized well enough for what the work they do, because their work is not only in helping out now, it is also helping out for the future, and that's what we're looking at. The other institution, organization I want to thank is PepsiCo. PepsiCo has been now almost like an in-house supporter of the Organization of American States, not only in the area of youth, but also broader in promoting environmental approaches. Those are very important tasks which a global entity as PepsiCo is undertaking. I see it as going beyond corporate social responsibility. I see it as the responsibility or the obligation global companies have to make our world more secure, but also sustainable in many ways. So I want to thank PepsiCo, Mr. Rees and Mr. Montoya, who have been our key allies, and also the visit of the President Indra Nooyi in Cartagena last year was very useful in demonstrating that commitment, not only to us, but also to the presidents of the Americas. Now, I strongly support anything that can be done to strengthen the capacity of young people to not only improve their own life, but also to give them the opportunity to improve the life of others in their community. Because you don't work for yourself, you work for a community. And sometimes I believe we're losing a little bit of that notion that you work not in isolation. You work as part of a community, whether it is your own family, whether it is your own friends, or beyond that your own neighborhood, your communities, or even your countries. You do not work in isolation. Keep that always in mind, in my view, because that's where your impact is. What you learn here today will have an impact not only for yourself, but for the rest of society. And the Organization of American States finds it important to engage with young people, and we advocate that strongly to the governments. Because many may ask, what is the political organization as the OAS dealing with young people? The reason is, the traditional thing we say is you are the future of our societies, of our countries, and everything else. But the reality behind that is that if we do not pay attention to the young people, which is a majority of our population in our societies, if we do not give them opportunities, if we do not facilitate their talents to become useful in society, if we do not create mechanisms where young people can find an opportunity to take care of themselves in the first place, and then take care of others also, then we will have a major problem in our societies, in many ways. Because you cannot just say, go away young people. You will still have to feed them, you will still have to house them, you will still have to transport them. So you need a productive young class coming up. These are the discussions which we have with member states and to the leaders, is that they focus on and invest in young people and in the capacities they have, because you have lots of talents. Many of the cutting edge technology which we have today, many of the new approaches which we have today will not be implemented with those who are here already. Those will only be implemented with your insight, with your capacity to absorb, but also to be able to deliver on them. I don't see, this is not a real public event, but I don't see the leaders of the Americas doing what you're doing, because they don't have the mindset. The cutting edge technology requires a set of skills which many of us do not have, because we were not educated like that. You are living in that era, and you better use it, because that's the future. So our job is to make sure that countries, leaders understand that they will benefit from your success, and that they have to facilitate your success for the future. And that is a sustainable path. I'm looking for economic and social well-being, economic and social wealth in our societies. I was in Barbados just a couple of days ago. I spoke with Minister Maxine McLean about this, and she reported in the press, and her headline in the Barbados Nation was, in the newspaper there, we need to create a new entrepreneurial class for the future. And that's exactly what we're doing here, a new entrepreneurial class for the future. So some of us do understand that we need to go a long way in promoting it. I want to say that I wish you all the best in your endeavors. But one thing, when you go back to your countries, please talk to the media of what you have learned. please talk to your peers about what the opportunities are, so that it doesn't stay alone with you. This is something which you should do, because you're not only here for yourself, but you need to air, to communicate what you have learned here, not only in terms of the specific knowledge, but also the opportunity which exists. So I want to thank you all very much for being here, welcoming you to the Organization of American States. If you have an opportunity, visit the other building, which is much nicer, the headquarters of the OAS, historic building. If there is time in the program,
Will be on Friday.
will be on Friday, good. I hope that I can see you on Friday in a way to dialogue and listen to you more than I talk about what your experience was after a week of training. So good luck. If there is anything we can do to make your life easier here, let us know and we'll try to accommodate. All the best to you all.